Hey everybody, welcome into the Delmarva Sports Insider, your top live and local show dedicated giving you all local sports. I'm Sports Director Brandon Bossert.
What's up? It is yours truly, sports anchor Devin J. Martin. Welcome into the show. It's a championship edition, Football Friday, here on the show.
A very special night. We haven't seen a Bayside team in the title game, the only two teams to play in a championship game since Cambridge went back-to-back in the 90s were Snow Hill in 2005 and Queen Anne's in 2009. Only two teams making it to the championship in the last 25 years. Kent Island was the third.
Wow, and that means they're the first Bayside team in the football title game 13 years. Imagine what we were doing 13 years ago.
Yeah, Kent Island looking to have their work cut out for them tonight, facing a tough Milford Mill team. They were impressive, too.
They absolutely were. So let's see if Kent Island can make it 13 in a row or if Milford Mill would take home the trophy. And let's see if the Bucks could take home that title from the Millers. The Buccaneers at Navy Stadium in Annapolis. Their opponents, the Milford Millers, undefeated. Bucks trail early after a Miller touchdown. The field goal gets Kent Island on the board. Check out the Bucks home crowd. They had maybe twice as many fans in the stands. Huge moment right there.
Yeah, they were great tonight, too.
They absolutely were, and I think in the first half, the Bucks used the energy that the crowd provided them because they get a turnover that they desperately needed. The fumble by the Millers, and the Kent Island Buccaneers pounce on it. Bucks get the ball back in great field position.
Yeah, that's right. Kent Island loving it, but they need to get some points on the board. Tommy McAndrews looking downfield for a man, fires it, and Keegan O'Brien, what a grab. That was so good. Let's check it out from another angle. O'Brien, like a Stretch Armstrong, laying out for the rock in the title game. You need plays like that later in the drive. Yep, McAndrews going the safe route. Finds Mr. Buck himself. Casey Heath open in the flat. Don't leave him open because he can do this. Casey Heath rumbling his way in for the score. Kent Island goes in front late in the first half. Bucks go into halftime with the lead on Milford Mill.
Look, we were throwing the ball very well in the first half. We were getting shallow routes, underneath routes, we were throwing really, really well. We're not a throwing team. Second half, they just locked it down a little tighter, and we just didn't come up with the plays that we needed to win.
And now to the second half, Milford Mill imposing their will on the Bucks on the opening drive, eating up 6 minutes of time, capping it off with a touchdown. The quarterback sneak. Point after, no good. Now down by 9. This was a costly mistake right here.
McAndrews going for Heath underneath, but is picked off, and that just put Kent Island down by 15 points with 5 minutes to play. The Bucks do not quit, though. They fought until the final whistle. McAndrew lets it flies, and that's Austin Holland alone on the sideline. He gets down into the red zone, but time is running out.
Yeah, 4th and goal. Here we go to Claxton Tucker. Tucker coming down with it on the fade route. Touchdown, Kent Island. But the point after would be missed with only a minute and a half to go. That means the Kent Island deficit was 9 instead of 8, which means that even if they got the onside kick, there wasn't enough time to come back in this one. Kent Island falls to Milford Mill 25-16. And you see right here, this meant so much to Casey Heath, the heart and soul of the Bucks. Yeah. He did everything for the Bucks this year.
And you can see it on his face, his soul that he put into this team. I mean, he basically, on the offensive end and the defensive end, carried this team on his back to the championship game. But it just wasn't enough against the Millers. I mean, the Millers were great all day, especially in the second half. Yep. And the Bucks were too, but it was just the second half adjustments, and the Bucks have to come out on the other side of it with a runners-up trophy.
But this team was much more than that final score indicates. This was the greatest team of the last 13 years from the Bayside Conference. Without a doubt, the most resilient. There's no blame for a loss like this. This team was a true family.
Well, we never quit once the entire time. They got incredible heart. They showed that the entire season, and tonight was a great example of it. You know, even that last series, marching down the field to get an onside kick. We could have laid over, we could have stopped, but these boys aren't about that.
So I had to come out here and make some plays, but those turnovers in the second half are unacceptable on my part, and that's my fault.
That happens in every game, and we're a team. Those turnovers don't matter right now. That game's over, and we are a brotherhood. So I don't care about turnovers. I don't care about the end of that game. All I care about is this brotherhood and boys we got going on right here. So, Tommy, it ain't you, just you. Remember that, right? All right, baby.
We all got closer, started hanging out more. we went in every day and we worked hard, worked our off, and you know, it's just a bond that not many people will understand that was formed this Kent Island season.
Brandon, I think that interview right there showed why the Bucks were able to make it this far. I like how Coach Soph Tommy blamed himself, and he was like, no, don't take that blame. That's not your fault. This game is over. You guys all played great today, and that's why you made it so far.
And Coach Soph was absolutely right with what he said, but we got a little bit more to get to. The entire season, it was obvious, like we said, the heart and soul of the team, Casey Heath. The senior was the goaltender for the Bucks lacrosse team that won a state title last spring. He was the running back and linebacker for this football team, scored 40 times, ran for over 2,500 yards.
Wow.
He showed so much emotion after the game. We asked him about leaving everything on the field tonight, and his head coach had very high praise.
You know, that's my final football game that I'll ever play. So it's just, it's just a lot to take in. You know, this has been the best 4 years of my life. So, you know, it's just hard to take in everything and just look around and, you know, the brotherhood that we got.
He's an incredible leader on and off the field. He led from the front, puts the team on his back. Great young man, all over the place. I guess the funny thing is, I got a daughter, and I would say this: I'd let him date my daughter, right? I'd have to watch over it, but yeah.
Like I said, very high praise. Takes a lot for a guy like Coach Soph to say something like that. All right, now let's check this out right here. This is from Twitter. Torrey Smith, you may remember him from the Philadelphia Eagles. Super Bowl champion Torrey Smith shouting out Keegan O'Brien from Kent Island, number 14 from Kent Island's football team. That kid can play.
Yeah,
that's
sure
what Torrey
can.
Smith said.
Yeah, and he could see it. He would know, and he was absolutely right. O'Brien made some great catches for the Bucks today in the championship game. I was so impressed.
How cool is that to have a Super Bowl champion out there at the game and say, hey, that kid from Kent Island, he can really play.
He's going to remember that for the rest of his life. They may, he's going to be sad about the championship loss, but, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, he'll remember, hey.
He made some great plays.
He made some great plays. He did what he had to do.
All right, so let's tie a bow on it. First of all, congratulations to Kent Island on an incredible season. In the long and storied history of Kent Island football, and they have been a top Bayside program for a long time now. They made it all the way to the title game for the first time ever. What a huge accomplishment.
Absolutely. They have nothing to be ashamed of. I know you could see the looks on their faces. They were obviously distraught, as they should be. But when they wake up and, time passes, they should actually be proud of the performance that they had, not only in this game, but this entire season, because they played their tails off. They left everything on the field. It wasn't one of those games where it was like, no, I wish I could have done this, or we could have done this. No, they played as best as they could, and tonight, it just didn't go their way. Now, obviously, in the first half, they were up 10-7, and the offense took a couple possessions to kind of figure out and adjust to what the Millers were doing. But once they made their adjustments, which was basically throwing the ball more instead of running it, which is the exact opposite of what they've been doing all season, they had some success, which is a credit to the Millers' monster defensive line up front to be able to bottle up Heath. But they put the ball in McAndrews' hands, and he was great in the first half. And when you add the defense that the Bucks played, forcing 2 fumbles in the first half, the Bucks were able to lead. But, the second half, a different story. They began to wear down, and then obviously the interception, especially the pick 6 at the end of the game, it made it too tall of a task for them to overcome. And then you see, they ended up losing by 9 points.
Yeah, the thing about this game is Milford Mill came in 13-0, like we've been saying, a dominant team out there in Baltimore County. Kent Island couldn't make many mistakes, not just against Milford Mill, but against pretty much anybody. That's what happened last week in the state semifinal.
Absolutely.
They got down 7-0 against Middletown. They were able to come back, held Middletown to just 7 points. But this Milford Mill team has an incredible offense that we saw tonight. And Kent Island, they made a few mistakes. We saw the one mistake by Tommy McAndrews, but look, here's the thing. High school quarterbacks, they make mistakes like that. Everybody makes mistakes like that in high school. Look, it's not on Tommy McAndrews' shoulders whatsoever.
Not.
He actually had a fantastic game, in my opinion.
In my opinion, I think that's the best he's played this entire season. I was looking at the game, and I was like, I haven't seen the flashes in terms of the consistency. All season, he was making dot after dot, pass after pass in the zone defense. And again, they forced them to do everything because, you know, during the season it's usually, you know, the Casey Heath show, and McAndrews kind of plays back up to him. But it completely flipped the script, and it could have been a lot worse. They could have been blown out in the first half, but instead McAndrews showed up and showed out in the first half, and he was the main reason why they were even leading in this game.
You know
it was
what?
a close game.
I'm glad you said that because I agree with that. He had so much poise and confidence in the pocket. He looked so comfortable in the pocket.
Absolutely did.
Slinging it to the outside for a long time during that drive in the first half that led to that touchdown to Casey Heath.
Yep.
And then to end the fourth quarter as well. It's just a shame that one mistake led to that touchdown. But look, it's not about the mistake. Overall, the team just came up a little short.
It did, and that's how it is. Sometimes there's winners and losers, but I think the biggest thing that also they showed today that the Bayside is for real.
Yeah.
Bayside football is for real.
The Bayside is definitely up and coming.
They
after this
absolutely
season.
are. We both were at the game, and we were talking to a lot of different media people from the Baltimore County, and they were so shocked and surprised that it was a 10-7 game that they were down, and like, no, this shouldn't be like this.
Oh my gosh, we're losing to a Bayside conference
and
team.
I was like,
what's going on?
And I had to explain to them, Decatur, obviously they made it to the semifinals. Y-High was really good. Queen Anne's was really good. Eastern was really good. North Carolina was really good, and obviously Kent Island. Those teams were basically iron sharpening iron, steel on steel, battle upon battle, getting them prepared for the playoffs. And that's why you saw Kent Island was so poised today. It wasn't them shooting themselves in the foot. It was just a talent disparity that may have got them in, and a couple mistakes in the second half. And that battles that they've had against, Y-High, against Queen Anne's, against Easton, against Decatur, those games got them prepared, and it got those other teams prepared, which is why they were able to play so well, and why Decatur had them down and almost beat them, and why Kent Island played the way that they did today.
Yeah, we'll talk about those Bayside teams a little bit later on in the show, but that'll do it for the A block. When we come back, we have to start thinking about two more championship games, this time up in Delaware. We're talking about Smyrna, Dover, and Laurel coming up next on Delmarva Sports Insider.
I'm Coach Sean Johnson from Snow Hill High School, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.